Despite US tariffs, Chinese trade surplus has hit $1.2 trillion. Wow.
China's trade surplus has reached a record high, surpassing last year's total to hit $1 trillion in the first 11 months of this year. Exports to the United States continued to fall sharply, down 28.6%. Even after a partial tariff easing, shipments to other regions showed growth, with exports to the EU, Japan, South Korea and Africa rising. Key sectors also saw mixed trends. Rare earth exports jumped 26.5%, while chip exports fell 1%. Soybean imports dropped 14.5% to 8.1 million tons, as China suspended shipments from 5 Brazilian exporters. China's leadership signaled a focus on domestic demand, pledging proactive fiscal policy and moderately loose monetary measures for 2026. Analysts expect this approach, alongside strong export performance, to support growth near 5% this year. Upcoming meetings, including the Politburo and Central Economic Work Conference, will provide further guidance on next year's policy. Experts caution that while exports are helping mitigate weak domestic demand, a sustained shift towards internal consumption will take time to fully develop.
We'll take Greenland anyway. Hard or easy way, claimed Trump. Terrible. France has rushed troops to Greenland and Denmark is fuming. With a NATO.
President Trump insists the U.S. needs Greenland for national security, and he's threatened to take it by force if necessary.
We're doing the Golden Dome, we're doing a lot of things, and we really need it.
The Golden Dome is a missile defense system that could be positioned on the island, a key location to take out Russian ballistic missiles fired at the U.S. The self-governing territory of Denmark is also rich in rare earth minerals.
If we don't go in, Russia's going to go in and China's going to go in. And there's not a thing that Denmark can do about it, but we can do everything about it.
That message was delivered today during a high-level meeting led by Vice President J.D. Vance at the White House. The foreign ministers of Greenland and Denmark say they tried to tamp down Trump's goals unsuccessfully.
It's clear that the president has this wish of conquering over Greenland. We made it very, very clear that this is not in the interest of the kingdom.
The Danes warned attacking Greenland would be the end of NATO, since Denmark is a member. But Trump argues NATO becomes far more formidable and effective with Greenland in the hands of the United States. Democrats and many Republicans disagree.
The thought of the United States taking the position that we would take Greenland, an independent territory within the Kingdom of Denmark, is absurd.
Nobel Peace Prize winner Maria Machado, leader of Venezuelan opposition, handed over Nobel medal to Trump just as Trump declared sale of Venezuelan oil. Baap ka maal. But Trump didn't back Maria as interim president.
Nobel Peace Prize. One truth remains. As the Norwegian Nobel Committee states, once a Nobel Prize is announced, it cannot be revoked, shared, or transferred to others. The decision is final and stands for all time. A medal can change owners, but the title of a Nobel Peace Prize laureate cannot.
Tonight, President Trump is confirming that he's received a Nobel Peace Prize medal from last year's winner. With the future of her country's leadership still uncertain after the United States captured Nicolas Maduro, the Venezuelan opposition leader, Maria Corina Machado, walked into the White House today, as you can see here, for a high-stakes sit-down with President Trump and left behind something he has long desired.
I presented the President of the United States the medal of the Nobel Peace Prize.
The president, hours later, confirmed that, saying that Maria presented me with her Nobel Peace Prize for the work I have done, such a wonderful gesture of mutual respect. A source tells CNN that the president is keeping the medal, even though the president previously said that he did not believe Machado had the respect within Venezuela to govern. Machado, I should note, did not leave the White House empty-handed today. We saw her walking out of the meeting with a red gift bag bearing the president's golden signature. There's a gift shop that he has installed right outside of the Oval Office. And seemingly anticipating that this would happen today when she visited the White House, the Nobel Peace Center put out a statement this morning clarifying that, quote, once a Nobel Prize is announced, it cannot be revoked, shared, or transferred to others. The decision is final and stands for all time. The center also added a medal can change owners, but the title of a Nobel Peace Prize laureate cannot.
Fresh talks, says new U.S. ambassador. Fresh trade talks lined up between India-US. But tariff tensions remain. The new U.S. ambassador to India, Sergio Gore, said that the two nations would be holding a fresh round of trade talks. He said both sides had been actively negotiating the first tranche of a trade deal, but concluding the agreement was difficult due to the scale and complexity of India's economy. Highlighting ties at the top, Gore said Trump's friendship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi was genuine, adding that while real friends can disagree, they are committed to resolving differences. Here's what's going on. Donald Trump had warned of higher tariffs if India did not stop buying Russian oil, while backing a proposed U.S. bill that could impose 500% tariffs on countries purchasing Russian crude. He stressed that trade was only one part of the relationship, saying India and the U.S. would also deepen cooperation on security, counterterrorism, energy, technology, education and health. The talks came as India continued to face 50% tariffs on exports to the U.S., including penal duties linked to its imports. Like, riots in Minneapolis, USA are serious. Protests after man shot during U.S. federal raid in Minneapolis. In the U.S., nationwide protests are unfolding, as anger boils over this week's deadly shooting in Minneapolis, involving immigration and customs enforcement officers. From coast to coast, rallies continue for calls for justice over Renee Good, the Minnesota woman shot dead by an ICE officer on Wednesday. And WAPO reporter Hannah Nathanson is arrested for Venezuelan info leak. That's freedom of press in USA.
What is the administration's position on the Washington Post reporter? The Post has reported that she was told that she is not a target of the investigation. Does the administration believe she did anything wrong? And then also, what is the administration's position on the Pentagon Papers case from the 1970s that affirmed reporters' right to publish classified information under certain circumstances?
Well, since this is an active investigation, I don't want to comment on it much more than what we did yesterday to obviously confirm the investigation, and I can confirm what the Attorney General stated, and the President as well, which is that the individual, unfortunately a contractor at the Pentagon, chose to unlawfully leak classified and very serious information to this Washington Post reporter, hence why the reporter's home was looked into by the FBI, rightfully so. And the administration is not going to tolerate leaks, especially from within the national security apparatus of the United States government, that put our nation's integrity and our national security at risk. Full stop. The President will not support that. I know the Secretary of War will not support that, and it will not stand. And legal action will be taken against anyone, whether it's a member of the press or whether it's an employee for a federal agency who breaks the law. If you break the law and if you endanger our men and women in uniform, you are going to be held accountable, period, full stop.
Like, attacking Iran will have disastrous consequences, warned Putin. We are not attacking Iran, said Trump. Don't trust this man, said Lindsey Graham, U.S. Senator. And John Bolton, ex-US NSA, predicted kinetic military strikes on Iran. Bad news. Trump's Iran plan. Dilemma or strategy?
Donald Trump has urged protesters to keep taking to the streets and that his help is on its way. He said he has cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials. He has written, Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions, save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price. And then he says he's cancelled all those meetings with Iranian officials that had been planned until, as he puts it, the senseless killing of protesters stops.
Take over institutions. Help is on its way. Trump tells Iranian protesters. U.S. President Donald Trump on January 13, 2026, doubled down on his threat of intervention in protest-hit Iran, telling protesters that help is on its way. Iranian patriots, keep protesting, take over your institutions. Save the names of the killers and abusers. They will pay a big price, Mr. Trump wrote in a social media post. I have cancelled all meetings with Iranian officials until the senseless killing of protesters stops. Help is on the way, he added, without explaining what kind of help he is offering. Defiant Iran fires back. Iran's defense minister warned Trump that Tehran would respond forcefully to any aggression and would not tolerate threats from external powers. Iranian officials accused Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of being the main killers, reacting sharply to Trump's comments backing protesters. Russia also condemned what it called external interference in Iran, warning that renewed aggression could have disastrous consequences for regional and global security. Trump's tariff threat again. Mr. Trump said in a social media post that he would impose 25% tariff on Iran's trading partners. Effective immediately, any country doing business with the Islamic Republic of Iran will pay a tariff of 25% on any and all business being done with the United States of America. This order is final and conclusive, Mr. Trump said. Iran's major import partners include the UAE at $21 billion, 30%, China at $17 billion, 26%, Turkey at $11 billion, 16%, and the European Union at $6 billion, 9%, underscoring India's relatively marginal share. India's total trade with Iran stood at $1.6 billion last year, a small fraction of Iran's overall import basket, which was estimated at around $68 billion in 2024.
You are watching Sanglikar's Weekly.
Pakistani political commentator Najam Sethi has claimed that India could respond forcefully to what he described as provocative statements by Bangladesh, suggesting New Delhi may consider an Operation Sindoor-style action against Dhaka. Speaking to a Pakistani news channel, Sethi, who is considered close to former Pakistani Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif, said India would not ignore recent remarks from Bangladesh and could act in a manner similar to its past actions against Pakistan. Bangladesh is threatening India that it will do this or that to its 7 sisters. I think India will do something similar to what it did against Pakistan. The type of aggressive policy Narendra Modi follows. I don't think he will ignore all this. There's a sentiment there that India has to show that it's a great power, Sethi claimed.
बांग्लादेश धमकियां दे रहा है कि जी इंडिया को धमकियां दे रहा है कि आपके 7 सिस्टर्स को हम ये कर देंगे वो कर देंगे। आई थिंक इंडिया कुछ ना कुछ करेगा वहां, जैसे इंडिया ने पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ कार्रवाई की, इंडिया बांग्लादेश के खिलाफ भी उस एरिया में कुछ ना कुछ करेगा। और नरेंद्र मोदी जिस किस्म की एग्रेसिव फॉरेन पॉलिसी चला रहा था, मैं नहीं समझता कि वो चुप करके फोकस करेगा और भूल जाएगा इन चीजों को। वहां एक सेंटिमेंट है कि इंडिया हैज टू शो इट्स अ ग्रेट पावर।
India will bash Bangladesh like Pakistan, Pakistan analyst Najam Sethi said. हम भी पेले गए थे, तुम भी पेले जाओगे.
Like in UK, Shadow Defence Minister Jen Nick, on being expelled from Tory party, crossed over to Farah's party. Unethical.
The Conservative leader, Kemi Badenoch, has announced that she has sacked Shadow Justice Secretary Robert Jenrick due to what she said was irrefutable evidence that he was plotting in secret to defect. He has also had his party membership suspended. Mr. Jenrick has attracted speculation about leadership ambitions since being beaten by Kemi Badenoch in the party leadership election in 2024. He's repeatedly been accused of stepping beyond his shadow cabinet remit since then.
I was very sorry to be presented with clear, irrefutable evidence, not just that he was preparing to defect, but he was planning to do so in the most damaging way possible to the Conservative Party and his shadow cabinet colleagues. It is my responsibility to protect our party, And faced with that information, I took the only decision that any responsible leader could. Because the British public are tired of political psychodrama. So am I.
The Conservative Party leader did not say which party she thought Robert Jenrick was about to defect to, but Reform UK leader Nigel Farage said at a press conference this morning that he has had conversations with Mr. Jenrick.
And so I suspect she's panicked. I suspect she's added up 2 and 2 and made 5. I can confirm, hand on heart, honestly, look you in the eye, I was not going to be unveiling Robert Jenrick at 4:30 this afternoon. As I said to your BBC colleague a moment ago, is he one of many that I've talked to about what the future might look like? Absolutely. But, well, have I signed a deal with him? No.
Like, Canadian PM has turned to China for strategic partnership in the changed geopolitical equation. She is smiling.
It has been a historic and productive 2 days during which myself and fellow ministers have had the opportunity to meet with President Xi, Premier Li, Chairman Zhao, as well as business leaders across a number of key sectors. And I am very pleased to announce that we have made significant progress in a number of key areas. Stepping back, it's been 8 years since a Canadian Prime Minister visited China. And in that time, the world has changed dramatically. The technological revolution and the energy transition are accelerating at an unprecedented pace. The global trading system is undergoing a fundamental change, and the effectiveness of multilateral institutions on which trading powers such as Canada and China have greatly relied, that effectiveness has been greatly reduced. This is happening fast, it's large, it's a rupture, it's not a transition.
Like, Japan is heading for polls in the east while in Uganda, Africa, President Museveni is seeking 7th term. Wine is his opponent.
On the evening of January 14th, Prime Minister Takaichi Sanae broke her silence.
解散は通常国会冒頭の23日ということでよろしいでしょうか。
This was the first time Takaichi responded to questions about the dissolution. But she did not comment on specific dates.
Like, 50 years after her death, Guinness Book of World Records has declared Agatha Christie the most widely read author.
Agatha Christie, often called the Queen of Crime, is the most widely read author in history. Born in 1890 in England, she became famous for her ingenious detective novels, filled with suspense, clever plots, and unforgettable characters like Hercule Poirot and Miss Marple. Her writing style combined elegance with intrigue, making her stories timeless masterpieces of mystery fiction. What makes Christie unique is not only her ability to surprise readers with unexpected endings, but also the global reach of her work. Her books have been translated into over 100 languages, making her a truly universal storyteller. Most impressively, Christie has sold more than 2 billion copies of her books worldwide, a number surpassed only by the Bible and Shakespeare.
Agatha Christie
her
is an
enduring
English
popularity
writer and
proves
playwright.
that people everywhere
He's
share
one of
a
the most
fascination
famous
with crime,
authors of detective
puzzles,
fiction
and
in
the
the world.
ultimate quest for truth.
The
Agatha
works of
Christie
Agatha
remains,
Christie
without
have
doubt,
become one of the
most read
published in the
novelist of all
history of
time.
mankind.
And finally, when I read that one municipal candidate had declared assets worth over 124 rupees crores, I asked my legal eagle friend whether he was top lawyer. My friend said the candidate's declared profession was legal practice, but business was politics.
Lazy Bee. The 17th of January, 2026.